This is a Ben Frank Connection presentation.
What is going on, everybody? We are here for another episode of the ABJ Podcast, episode 111, The Brothers Gray. Before we get into that, let's get some housekeeping done. First and foremost, big news for the channel. We are officially partnered with YouTube. Yes, that is correct. We hit partnership on YouTube. We hit the 500 subscribers as well as the 3,000 watch hours. So now we have partnerships. So we have memberships that you can do when you join the stream. We have the tag team level, the mid card level, the world champ level, triple crown champ level, and the grand champ. Now, I want to be really quick when I say this. I've been saying it in my live streams and stuff, but I want to say it in the podcast as well. I know who got me to the dance. I know what got me to the dance. I know the support got me there. I am not going to be a content creator that is going to paywall content. I'm not going to paywall your ability to comment or engage with the chat or do any of that. So all of this support, even though there are higher levels and tiers, and maybe you look at it and go, well, that's not really worth the money. It's not so much what you're getting, it's the support aspect. It's like, if you want to support that much, do it, but I can't really give insane amount of stuff away because I still want everyone to be able to enjoy this in content, whether they can afford it or not. As someone who has grown up poor, I would really hate to follow someone for 6 years and then all of a sudden I can no longer do so because I can't afford to. I don't want to be that type of content creator. I want to be someone that everyone can enjoy regardless if you can afford to or not. If you can't afford to, it's very, very helpful, and I really appreciate that. But with that being said, let's say a quick thank you to our members, our tag team champs, Lily and James, our mid-carders, A, Devin the Tribal Chief, Steven Chambers, BR, Inspector Todd, Adam, Andrea, DM, CJ, and James M, and Freak Maniac 90210. Thank you all so damn much for those subscriptions and those memberships and people doing super chats during shows. It's been crazy. Also, links below for all things if you want to grab merchandise, whether you want to follow myself on all social media or my amazing guests here tonight. We'll get into more plugs towards the end, but without further ado, I just want to bring my guest in for tonight. Let's bring in the Brothers Gray.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, my guys?
Are you? Good.
I'm doing great. Doing awesome. So I want to say, as we say that, we have a brand new member.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. We got another membership. That's my little brother, now a member of the of the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Well, my little brother has donated during two guys who I didn't think were really brothers on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
I heard you guys were shoot brothers, and I go, there's a story there.
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah.
I'm sure we'll get into that as we go, but little pro tip, a little behind the scenes of the ABJ podcast. I get a lot of opportunities to interview people and talk to people. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I made a point coming back and kind of maybe a couple months before I went away was I don't just let anybody on. And sometimes I have to get to know the person before I do it. And we had opportunities now twice where we sat down after shows and cracked a couple beers or had a couple drinks and really got to know each other. And I will be honest, I push this further up the list because I felt like this is one I want to give these guys this platform. I want to give these guys this opportunity because it means more. You know what I mean? Like I really enjoy you guys as not just performers, but also humans. And I can't wait for that to bleed through in this interview. So let's kind of jump into this. Talk about yourselves a little bit. Let's get your names for the people who may not know who the Brothers Gray are your possible other teams. And also, little bios here.
Cool. Alrighty, yeah. I am Salem Gray. I am the younger brother of the Brothers Gray. We are, like you said, we are shoot brothers. We have been together both of our whole lives. Well, he had 16 months of peace and quiet before I got into the fold, but
it was amazing. It was amazing time.
We are actually from Las Vegas. That's not a fun little character tidbit in our intros. That is a real life thing. We were born in the city of sin. That's, it's how we grew up. It's the lifestyle we know. It's a big town, big city with a lot of people. But We moved around a lot growing up with all of our families in the military. Damien also served over here, so we traveled a bunch. Yeah. And I'll let Damien give you his little bio before we give you a backstory.
Like my brother said, my name's Damien. I'm Damien Gray. Traveled a bunch, did the military thing for 6 years, was in the National Guard. I'm a nasty girl, as any vet knows that joke. But yeah, we're nasty girls. That's our nickname. It's hilarious. Did the college thing down in Vegas too, and ended up relinking up with my baby brother. Younger brother. We're not babies anymore. My younger brother, and did this wrestling thing, and it's been a ride since. Yeah.
Now, so you guys were like, you guys aren't pulling the whole like the New York bit. And when I say the New York bit, I say someone who like was born in New York because their family originally lived there. They were like 7 months old when their family moved to somewhere else, and they're like, from New York. Yeah. From New York, born and raised. I'm like, you were there for like you went through your entire adolescence, high school, and then you even said you did some college in Vegas.
So my brother and I, we were both born in Vegas. I was born at Nellis Air Force Base because both of our biological parents were in the Air Force. My brother was born at a civilian hospital just outside of it. And then, families happen. We ended up moving around a lot. We moved to like California, Nashville, Florida, back to Nashville, back to Vegas, where we both graduated high school in Vegas. So we did a real cool road trip with a bunch of little stops in between.
I literally did that road trip to go get my little brother when he was stationed in California. We literally we flew to Colorado, drove from Colorado to Utah to here to here to here, and then did the whole drive back to Colorado and flew home. So where you lived, I kind of probably drove through there.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, so we did like a whole bunch of traveling, like we were saying. Hey, Ricky, hey, all because the Southern University, Ricky, is the better university. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me, Reno boy.
So there's a rivalry there, Vegas and Reno, right?
I'll fill everybody in here. So Damien went to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. He went to UNLV. Ricky went to UNR, which is the University of Nevada, Reno. I went to Sierra Nevada University, which is the other of the three colleges possible.
Redheaded stepchild of the two and three.
So all three of us in the area that are from the Reno area all went to different colleges in the state, and they're
all around the same time too. But
that's crazy.
Ricky and I's colleges don't see eye to eye, so to speak.
So when you grow up in an area like Vegas, and and it's kind of like where. Like you just said, the city of sin, right? So you have opportunities to get into a lot of shit while being in that area. It's not like Philly or New York. Like there's opportunities to get into shit, but like Vegas is kind of like people go there on vacation and become homeless in a tunnel for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Like, how do you navigate living just outside of that desert and that big area?
Well, it was interesting. I guess if you're never really exposed to it and you visit it, it's weird. Like there's that culture shock on vacation. Plus, because you think you're on vacation, you forget limits. You're like, oh, I'm on vacation, I can do whatever. But growing up there, our parents were very smart to teach us like, hey, there are consequences to how you talk to people. There are consequences how you look at people. There are consequences to how you operate in society, in this city. Mm-hmm. People go missing here.
Yeah.
Don't fuck around and find out. You will end up somewhere in the Mojave Desert. So that side, and then with just like how Vegas operates with like the sex appeal and all that stuff, we got numb to it. When we moved to Nashville and the Bible Belt, that was weird to us.
Yeah.
Kids arguing about the Bible in homeroom. I was like, Mom, can we go back to the weird place with the girls on the buses? Because this is weird to me.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I feel like that's like everywhere you go, you have those pitfalls in life that where you can get caught up in the nonsense and get caught up in the drama. But I feel like, man, like that Vegas area, that's like, I feel like there's so many more opportunities for those pitfalls to be, especially growing up and most of your life being there. But maybe it's kind of like when you live there, you don't partake as much in the casino sides of things because you're kind of numb to it, and it just becomes like we just don't go over there, you know.
So a lot of locals. And I'm only speaking because I lived there a little bit longer than my brother. A lot of locals, we won't go to like the strip, but a lot of my friends have like different versions of alcoholism or gambling addictions or another version of a drug addiction. So there definitely are those pitfalls, you know, and I'll say it, like, I'm happy I went into the military, because when I was in college, my fraternity was great, but I just didn't feel like I was going anywhere. Like, I felt like I was stuck in a rut. But me joining the military, being in the National Guard, and being able to stay in Vegas helped a lot. But yeah, absolutely. I see it, especially when I did security out there. It's everywhere. Seeing people down on their luck for 4 years, you're like, all right. No, okay, I don't know what to tell you about that. And it makes you feel a certain kind of way.
We have Vegas. We have that Vegas experience now in Pennsylvania. They're called gas stations, where everyone plays those slot machines till 5 a.m. every single night. It's bonkers. Like, could you imagine 1 or 2 machines in a gas station draw that much attention, and then being in a city where every place has those machines? Like, it's gotta be insane.
Even in every place, they still draw attention. Like, growing up, our CVSs have a gambling section. They have a whole slot section on the side. And like that's normal to us. Like, go into a place where it's like, what do you mean you guys can't gamble at all? Like, if I say, hey, I bet you $5 I'm faster than you, like, the cops are gonna show up? Like, that's ludicrous. Like, it just grew up as a natural portion of our life. It was just something we always knew. So it was never weird to us. But I can 100% understand for 99% of the world going there, they're like, this place is lawless. Crazy. It's got no rules. And it's like, we have rules. It's just not yours.
Not written down anywhere.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, well, like I said, we kind of have that now where they have changed gambling laws in Pennsylvania, but it's like I said, I couldn't imagine. Like, I've been to Vegas twice now. I personally love going. I'm not a gambler. Also, I'm not a huge partier when it comes to that. I kind of like just to chill and people watch. And if you love people watching, that is a vacation. Like,
absolutely. If your thing's people watching, Vegas is home.
Yeah, people watching in shows. If you like going to do entertainment stuff and going to see shows and going to see like all that and just kind of like going to like music, like I've been to the Mob Museum 4 times. I love it. I thought it was the coolest thing I did while I was there. But like, I just walk up. I don't like the new strip or the current strip. Like, I went there and I was like, I'm bored. I want to get out of here. Now take me to Fremont Street, where it's like
Fremont Street is where
it's like Schuylkill County on a 4-block radius. It's just like it's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Fremont
spot.
Street, like I said, me and my fraternity brothers, Fremont Street was my home. I knew all right, I could get 2 drinks for $7 there in these times, and I could go over here and get 2 Coronas for $4 here. I had a whole map planned out every time I went out. It was awesome. Sick. Me 21 to 23 was ridiculous.
Yeah. So we'll kind of jump into it here, and we'll kind of steer it into the wrestling side of things. So during these timelines when you guys are, at the age of 6 gambling and drinking and going to hookers, no, I'm joking. When did you guys?
Will Darlings, yeah, you were there. There's my police report. That's crazy.
When did you guys? What's your earliest memory or your earliest time where you remember of seeing the wrestling business for the first time? And was it something that grabbed you where it became a lifelong obsession, or was it something that came later?
Yeah, so it was a little bit circumstance, a little bit fate, a little bit horrible luck, and being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. So in middle school, we lived out in Orlando, Florida, and we were out there for 2 years. And during that time period, we were doing after school care because both of our parents worked. And, we were in middle school just being kids. And in where we were at in Orlando was deep in the city, and there was a lot of gang violence out there. And so one day during after school, I came into the gym and I ended up getting jumped by people who were looking for people to jump in. And so I came home, bloody, beaten the shit out of. And my parents were like, man, like, this isn't safe. Like, we can't even leave you at the after school at your own school. Like, we have to find something to do because we work full-time jobs. So we had to figure something out. And at the time, Damien had a classmate who was like friends or cousins of Christian Cage. So she was like, hey, if you guys have Universal tickets, there's this thing called TNA. It's a show that's like after school. We can go to the park after school because there's a bus that leaves right from our campus and goes straight to City Walk. So we're like, all right. And my mom was like, Universal has fantastic security. Somebody will have an eye on you. We're like, cool. So she lets us go. We get to a point where as long as we finish our homework, we get to go down to Universal and we go ride rides for like 2 or 3 hours, hang out, and then we get in line for TNA. And the first time we went,
that is a sick after school program. I got to say,
it was crazy. It wasn't like a school bus. We had to like go around the corner and catch the city bus. Because in Orlando, just like every other city, it's really close. So it was like a 10-minute bus ride.
Yeah, it was super simple.
Yeah.
And so we were
like, what are you doing for after? I'm going to play volleyball in the gym. What about you? I'm going to watch.
I'm going to watch TNA.
I got TNA tonight, guys.
I'm going to watch Samoa Joe. Bye.
Yeah. Unreal.
Yeah, the first night we were there, like where the entranceway used to come in from underneath the Universal lot, used to come in through the merch area, but that was also like the front facade to LAX's entrance. And we have we've never seen the product, no idea about the stories. We're
really hanging out with two girls in our class, like, I'll go to this thing with you, cool. Sure.
And so we're looking around and we're like, all right, and like people like running to the barricade past us, and we were like, all right, is this a ride? Like, what are we getting into here? And then the Jeremy Borash comes out and he starts cracking jokes to the crowd, getting everybody nice and loose, and he starts the countdown, and then the firework hit, and I remember both him and I were like, we may be onto something here. Like, this may be cool. And then the second the episode starts, Samoa Joe comes out, and we're from a portion of the world where polys are everywhere around us. And so it's like, that's home for us. And so we see him come out and the crowd's chanting, Joe, and we're like, yo, and everybody rocks with this guy? Yeah. Yo, okay. And so like, we got for the whole night, just like let loose for the first time of moving out there, cheering, sweating, crying, cursing, jumping up and down. Like
we forgot about the girls. We got so enveloped.
Worst first date probably of all time.
Easily for worst first date ever.
We got lost in what we were watching. We got lost in everything that was in front of us, and we were like, man, this
there's a time in young man's life where he sees pro wrestling and girls. Yeah, there's a time in a young man's life where he sees pro wrestling for the first time and girls don't matter. And then he joins pro wrestling and the only thing that matters is the girls. Not just I will say this. I've done over 100 episodes of this podcast and a bunch on my last content. That is the coolest intro to professional wrestling story. You guys win the gold medal. That is hard to top. Like most people are like, oh, I turned on and I seen Kane or I seen the pipe bomb or I see I'm like, that's a great moment in wrestling to start off. Or that's amazing. You're like, yeah, we just wound up at a TNA show and it was during TNA's coolest roster members and stuff
and that's the wild part is because our father forbade wrestling. He hated pro wrestling. And he was like, because he worked the later shifts, so he's like, I will not come home seeing my sons hit each other in the head with a chair. Sorry, Soriano, our bad. Anywho, I will not see my kids hit each other with a chair. And our mom was like, sure, something to keep you out of the games. So that's how it worked. We did that, and then my mom made a deal with us. She's like, because they did the Monday, Tuesday tapings for the next 2 weeks. If your grades are good, if you do your homework, you could go. The girls would go with us for a few months, and then we just started going on our own. We'd be two little middle school kids running through City Walk, trying to get as close to the guardrail as possible.
Now, seeing that early TNA stuff, is that still like, is it treated like how AEW WWE is now, where when you go to those shows, there's very, very limited access to the stars, or is TNA kind of like how it is now, where most of the independent scene is TNA guys, where you can walk right up to their merch table and talk to them?
It's weird because everyone has to leave the studio, and there is only one exit from Universal. So we were kids and like we're staying late, like just enjoying the atmosphere. And I remember us walking out, and then there's like this giant, and we're like walking, and we're like, that dude's sweaty. Why is he sweaty? And then we look over, and we're like, holy shit, that's Matt Morgan. We just saw you, dog. And he's just got his suitcase, just he's like on the phone, moving. Just like going to his car, just like we're going to our mom's car, and we're like, But so it was a 1-for-1 interaction, and like, but it wasn't like they were coming out during intermission to come and like say what's up, or they didn't have merch booths or anything like that to go see them out. They were definitely treated as backstage talent and seen as such, but because of that area and that environment, like you accidentally ran into them all of the time. And that was like it made the show like not like saying it wasn't real to us, but it was like, oh, like this is something like, you're a real thing. This is something attainable. It's not like and growing up in Vegas, I attune it to like the Excalibur, the Knights. And you're like, I'll never know who the Green Knight is. I'll spend the whole dinner cheering for the Green Knight because that's my boy. We're in the green section. I'm rocking with you. But I'll never know who that guy is, and I'll never see him. Like that's not what the situation is. But then the first time to be there and him be like, hey, nice to see you guys. Like, happy you guys had a good time at the show. And we're like, and they talk to you? Yo.
So your introduction is into TNA. Are you even aware that a WWE exists or anything of that nature? Or you're like, here's TNA, and then, oh, by the way, here's an even bigger version of that.
We got into it on accident one day, and this is when we found out that it was an absolute no-go in the household because it was tribute to the troops. And being a military family, my dad's like, absolutely, toss it on the TV, let's get it. And John Cena comes out and hits a leg drop, and he goes, absolutely not.
A leg drop triggered your dad.
That was going to be cool. And he goes, if I get up and hit you with the steel chair, do you think you're getting up? No. My point proven. We were like, all right, we'll watch more baseball, I guess.
And I remember we tried to be sneaky with it. So we try to be like, nah, Dad, we're tired. We're going to go upstairs and go to bed. So my brother and I.
He's like, it's 8:30 on a Monday. Why are you going to bed so early? Yeah.
We turn back on Tribute to the Troops. Lights are off like we're sleeping. Something was happening. And all of a sudden, our dad kicks open the door, and we're like, ah! Because we got caught watching wrestling again.
Yeah, growing up, I was my family, my second family, I always say was a black family, and I remember they're like, all right, listen, we can't play any more games, but we now it's a family of like 9, and me and the older brothers are downstairs, and we were like, all right, we're gonna play SmackDown vs. Raw. Everyone just be super quiet. We're gonna mute the TV. We're gonna mute the TV. We're gonna turn all the lights off. Like everyone get underneath the blankets, right? And all you hear in this room is. That's the button presses, like that light. No, like we're not even like selling that we're doing cool things to each other. We're like, no one's speaking, everyone's keeping their breath down. It's all you hear is the light tapping of a controller. And all you hear, he comes sneaking. We didn't like a ninja. This dude came in the night. And he's like, y'all are too loud down here. Turn the game off. And I was like, oh, how did you even get in here? Like, I was like, we're too loud. Like, I was like, who was breathing? Who was breathing?
Who was breathing?
You got too excited, Jimmy. Stop it.
Empty your nose, empty your mouth. Yeah, you're sounding like a walrus. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, so awesome. So when you said you guys kind of went on your path, we're not going to do an entire history of your lives and stuff here, but when you guys get back together and start meeting, when does wrestling now become like, oh, we're going to train for this, or this is something we can do?
So when we were
2.5 years ago,
that's a short answer.
The
long-ish answer is we visited wrestling schools ever since he graduated high school. So I was already in college because, like I said, I was in that rut. I wasn't feeling it. So we visited a few wrestling schools, and we never even touched the ring, not taking bumps. I mean, like put hand on canvas. Yeah. Because we had so much respect for that art form that we all love and do. Mm-hmm. And then we did our thing, and we came back, like my brother said, like about 2 years ago, just post-COVID. And we were like, this is the first time in a while we've lived in the same city or almost state, really. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's try to find a school.
We agreed that if we did do it, it would be something that we would do together. Yep. Because when we did finally get into seeing it, like we saw the Team 3D of the TNA era. Mm-hmm. And like I wouldn't say we're gullible, but like, look at us. We're biological brothers. They said they were brothers, and we were like, yeah. Our older brother looks exactly like Devon, and I look like Bubba. We were just like, yeah, you're missing a little Damien in your life, but yeah, 100%. And so we didn't know that they weren't until like 2 years into being fans, and we were like, oh, we have been bamboozled, hoodwinked.
A crazy bit. We have a kid in our town growing up that he was whiter than me. And his entire family was dark, and they were blood biological brother, like you know what I mean, like mom. I believe mom was white, but the dad was black. But he came out like Ghost. And there's 2 kids that I know who have a situation where they look white, but they're in a black family, and both of them are red hair. I was like, is that like a thing? Is that how
that was our dad's dad, our grandpa? He was red with freckles, lighter than my brother.
Parents, and everyone was just like, "It's yeah. Sometimes you look like that, buddy."
My brother, in one of the shows, like maybe a month ago, our father watched our match, and he called me. He's like, "Your brother looks like Grandpa." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Your brother looks like my father so much." I was like, "That's gotta be weird for you, dude."
So, what was the longest period of time where you guys were actually together, like growing up and being in different places at different times, and you being in the military and traveling all over the place? How long have you guys been apart from each other? And then when you reconvened back here in like either Pennsylvania or just in general, how was that coming back together? Was it more important because of those other situations?
So ever since we were born with our parents' divorce, we moved together. We were a unit.
Yeah, we never left each other.
It wasn't until he went to college, or actually, it's when he played professional lacrosse and went to college, is when we first had our big split. We were 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, 3-4 years.
Yeah,
and then we were gone. We were separated, and then I got injured. I came back to live in Las Vegas after it was essentially the end of my professional lacrosse career. And then we were back together for about a year. And then I had the opportunity to go back to college at my original college. So we were like, yeah, you don't get that once, and let alone twice. Mm-hmm. So I took it, and then I was out there for 6.5 years. And then Damien and I moved back to the same place after that. And then it was up here, and it was mid-COVID, and it was one of those situations where, like, because Vegas is such a populated city, when it shut down, it hurt everything out there. So our parents had moved into this area, and we were like, hey, man, you got to do what you got to do, man. And like, that was a moment for us to, be in together as a unit, as a family, was the most important thing. So we all packed up our stuff, sold what we could, put it in a car, shipped it, and all met up at the same house and said, all right, we're going to do this thing. We're going to do it together. We're gonna handle whatever comes at us as a family. So we've been together for the last 3.5 years now. 3.5, 4 years.
Growing up, were you guys always insanely close to each other? Like, will you guys reach each other's rocks?
Yeah. Like, obviously the brother arguments in middle school and high school, but always were close.
Yeah, we played the same sports together. We were always on the same teams together. I always played up into his age group. So we're only 16 months apart. So, and we're of the same stature when we were growing up. So we were always playing and competing with each other. So it was like having your best friend as your rival that's also your brother. So like having Naruto like live with Sasuke the whole time and be like, hey, homie, like, we need to train because like I'm going to beat you up today.
Was it hard, like, for you guys to go to college, one go to military, and not be around each other for that long period of time? Or was there always communication, like you guys always made it a point to call or talk? Or
We always made it a point to call and talk, definitely. I remember getting a lot of letters from him when I was in basic and stuff like that. But I guess because our family, our like actual family, is buckshot everywhere, it got real simple to just phone calls with I love yous and I miss yous and, thinking about you. How's your day? How's your week? What have you been up to? That whole jazz. Yeah. It's gotten easier. And like with the moving around all the time, every 2 years we move to a different state. Facebook and social media is a crazy thing. So I guess once we did separate, it was just another one.
Yeah, it wasn't like we separated because we wanted to be apart. So we were just like, yeah, dude, you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. We've graduated life, and like this is the thing that happens. Like, of course, like we made trips to go visit each other. Like, oh man, the teams, we got an away game in Vegas. Like, dude, let's meet up. Let's hang out for the 3-day weekend. I gotta be down there, and then I gotta take a flight back to California.
Yeah, my fraternity has had a conference in Reno, so I drove 8 hours up, chilled at his house, did the conference, and slept at his place the whole weekend. So we always made it a point whenever we could to see each other. So.
Yeah. So you guys are now living together, so that's got to be cool to kind of do that, and then you take up this journey of pro wrestling. Now I don't know shoot names or anything like that, so I don't want to assume that these are real names or wrestling names. If they're not real names, how did you then come up with the names you have?
I'll let you talk about this because this is all.
Our name is our favorite joke, and it's very real.
It will stay that way.
The first one is the Brothers Gray, and we came up with the Brothers Gray because Gray is not our shoot last name, but the Brothers Gray because what happens when you take black and white?
And we'll leave it at that.
You get gray.
Yes, sir.
One of the biggest jokes I said is how are you not Team Ebony and Ivory?
Brothers, we're trying to tell you without putting it right on the nose. You know what I'm saying? So like we're mixed. We're the Brothers Gray.
Yep.
And that's what it is. So, and it's a little bit more than that. It's being that's the meaning behind it. It's like anybody can be a gray, man. Anybody who feels like
they don't fit in.
Yeah, man. You don't fit a category or a box that someone can check you off on a standardized test, dude. Just write down gray.
Yep.
Feel happy. Feel pride in being an individual or being something that no one can categorize yet. Individualism is sick, dude. Yeah.
Kind of along those lines, and I hope this isn't like a bad question to ask. This is just my pure curiosity, just because growing up in an all-white area and then being like thrown into a black family and learning like actual American history from the other side, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
they didn't teach us that in school. How hard is it to navigate, like, obviously growing up in an interracial family, but then when you're out in the world, you, Salem, yourself, present and look like, for the most, like, not present, but for the majority of people looking at you, they would not expect you're from a black family.
Yeah.
And then like, how do you tote that?
It's an interesting line. The biggest thing is just be yourself, like, and that's what people catch on to, is like genuine, and like just the fact that you're being what you are. Going around telling everybody anything isn't proving anything or gonna save any situation. So like, just I know who I am, and most people, when they start to talk to me, they're like, you got a little bit of flavor in you somewhere. like wait, what's up with the backstory? So most people can call it out after they talk to me for a little bit. Yeah. But it's just like, we've both been on both sides of the spectrum, getting yelled at, called at, everything under the sun. Being from the far West Coast, going all the way to the deep Bible Belt, going to a mainly Brazilian school, like we've heard everything called to us. So it's like, I know what we are, and I'm comfortable with who I am. I don't give a shit what people call me. That's their problem. And if they feel so inclined to say something, feel some type of way about it, I'm sorry that, it affected you in so much that it's disrupted your day, but I still don't care. It's like, I'm perfectly happy. I love the fact that I have natural curly hair. I love the fact that I have the ability to rhythm. I can cook great food, and like, I look the way I look, but like, we weren't at a character select screen where all of us got to choose it, but I love rocking with what I got. And I think that's the beauty in being yourself at the end of the day, is rock with what you got.
You can say all the cool words that we can't, you know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I say Jack Turkey all the time.
Like, wait, my mom's white, I can say it. No, so like, for me, when I grew up, and like, I called them my brothers. We weren't biological brothers, but they were my brothers. But like, growing up, I have my tattoos, long hair. Now, if you say some racist stuff around me, we're gonna have a problem. You know what I mean? Because I think people see what I present, and they're like, one of us. I can say some crazy stuff, especially in today's climate where it's kind of okay to outly speak nonsense in today's times. Like, and then like, my last name is Blackwell. Like, when you're the only kid in an all-white town, and your friends are all black, like, that's a thing that people can throw out there, is making fun of your last name, and because you're only it's wild. Like, that was one of the things when we were talking, I was like, man, I wonder how that the growing up wise, like, if someone ever said something about your brother on a racial level, but like they didn't know, like, or in that level, like, I couldn't imagine that I'd be in a lot of fights.
That's what happened. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you.
A lot happened.
Like, it took a very long time to grow up to say that things don't affect me, because growing up, like, dude, like, we didn't grow up with thick skin. That's some shit you grow. And like, it is just the world that we live in. Like, we grew up in a time where even now, like you said, people are outwardly going to express however they feel, regardless of what it is. And like, we come from, and I'm going to tell you, like, Nevada's just as Wild West as you think it is. Like, if you're going to say something, we're going to do something about it. So like, speak as well as you're getting well to be in that situation, is as simple as it's going to be. And if you want to lean in and whisper something, not knowing who's friends with who, and you get caught, you got caught. Right? Yep. You should stop twice. Keep that goddamn opinion to yourself.
It's always the joke of like, how does every bad joke start, and it's them looking over their shoulder. Like, I'm a secret agent. Don't say it.
Like, you probably don't want to tell me whatever you think you're about to tell me.
It better be really funny, or I'm going to be upset about it. So
growing up, we lived in a place in Tennessee when we spent like a couple years out there, like 3rd through 5th grade for me.
Two 2-year tours.
2-year tours of the Bible Belt. And I remember when we first got to this place, like, we're the new students, we're from Las Vegas, so everyone's like, oh my God, who are y'all? And we're like, all right, we're brothers, we're this, that, and the third. And they're like, so y'all are actual both together brothers? And they go, by Lord, we have 5 black people. And then the 4 of them come in, and we're like, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're like, 1/2 and 1/2. Y'all make the 5th one together. And we're like, oh my God.
That's a good bit. That's a good bit, though.
Where did we just move?
Yeah.
So my friends and I were walking down the street. This is awesome. This is a good one. We're walking down the street and we're going to play basketball. We used to go to every court in town and just play until nobody wanted to play us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would leave and like, oh, it's about that time. We lost 4 in a row. And then we go to the next court. And we're walking down the street. And this old guy's like, boys, come here. And then we go over. It's a white dude, old as hell. He's like almost dead old. Like he's like you can't even get mad about what he's about to say. And he's like, y'all boys just come out of the coal mine? Because we're from a coal town. And we're like, no, why? He goes, y'all look like it. And I was like, me was like, like when something is so insensitive said, it's almost jarring to the point where you're like, you have to like double check to make sure you heard what you heard.
Like you did not just say that. Any of us
going up in our area, there's always that deep sense of fear of like Ashton Kutcher's somewhere around us and we're getting punked, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't pop off right now because then I'm being on MTV.
I got
on a
charges.
horrible yeah.
I was like, how do you handle that? How do you like? And there's thousands of those stories of this poor family moving from New York City to White Pennsylvania and just the shit said to them. And I'm just like the one in the back, just like, oh my God, like I can't believe this is being said. Yeah. So I can imagine you have laundry lists of stories, especially going your entire life and like, so you're really brothers. Like there's no adoption papers. Like, you know what I mean? Like
we have to carry the photo of us with our dad and we're like,
yeah, like us as babies at Disneyland, like me wearing a Harvard hoodie, like
you sure
yeah,
pretty fucking sure.
The only thing that would make your tag team absolutely well, now you have a Spanish dude, right? So it's like the black, white, Spanish. You just need an Asian dude, and that's the new syndicate. You know what I mean? And and you're the new Dudley Boys. Like you're all somehow related.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So when the syndicate stop being badasses and you want to go full comedy. You can have that one.
That's my retirement gimmick. Is I'm just gonna father one. I'm gonna create the what was the Planet Force where they all put their rings together?
Yeah, like the Captain Planet.
Yes, I'm gonna create the Captain Planet. What is this? I'm just making the greatest wrestling stable of all time. Don't worry about it. It is what it is.
Yeah, we're making the United Nations right here, right now. I love it. So Salem and Damien. We'll go back to this question. We took a ADH side tour. Yeah. So how do you land Salem and Damien?
So Damien is actually Damien.
Yep, that's my shoot name. That's my shoot first name.
They nailed it on the first try.
Thank you, Dad.
Write that one off.
You're the omen. There it is.
Mine is not. It is the least cool thing. It's the most common name in the world. So it is what it is. But so our original characters for our first run, our first time wrestling, we grew up playing the Army of Two video games. And
oh my God, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So for us,
that's about to make sense real quick.
We were running home we had like when GameFly and Netflix would send you the disc in the mail, and you were like, all right, we have 48 hours because we got to send this back. All right, so we got to play this as intently. So we're sitting there, we'd play them to death. We'd buy them on repeat, so we were like, all right, we got 5 more days. It comes back. You get loose. So we play that, and we loved it. We loved everything about like the two of them, the co-op, the story. It was
great games, very underrated fantastic. Video games. Why don't they make another
our
one?
mask is their masks, as a matter of fact. Mine is,
my God.
Yes.
I told you a lot's about to make sense real quick.
So we have the masks from them, and I took Salem directly from the game. So his name is Salem. It's Salem
completely in a different direction of what I thought.
That wears the Cheshire Smile mask.
So I thought you were doing more occulty stuff, like Salem, witchy, like, and then Damien is like more occulty, demon, like the Omen.
We also played with that a little bit in our heads, and like and it's always something that we can go to. Yeah, especially if we were to go to further companies, it's something we could play with. Yeah. But that's why our first gimmick was the mercenary gimmick with the plate armor and the mask.
We had one before that.
Oh yeah, we technically
did have one before that. We were with the Brothers Gray. We were following the Brothers Grimm, and like wrestling was our fairy tale, but it was like a dark story fairy tale.
Yeah, and so we were intellectual.
We were way too big and muscular to be the like, we're reading books. Shut up! Right? So we were like, all right, so we are not doing this gimmick any justice.
That's what makes that get like now I'm in love with the gimmick more because the Army of Two. Like, so if you don't know. the Army of Two. Let me just break it down to our audience right now if you're not a game player. So Army of Two was one of the biggest co-op video games, and co-op is when two people can play on the same screen at the same time, and the game was designed to play with a friend. It was one of the first games where it's like, we're going to force you to play with somebody. And then that was the game where you're like, if you didn't have the right number of friends, or there's too many, like, so my situation, it was me and my buddy Tony, but Tony had 3 other brothers who always hung out. So like, we were like, yo, the rest of them aren't around. Let's throw Army of Two in. Let's finish it. You know what I mean? Like, that was because you don't want, like, it's that. So the fact that you're 2 brothers and that game is there, like, that's a bonding experience. That's like that's like old school Mario Luigi. Like, that's Army of Two. And like, it was a game that, like, it made you work together, like, because there was a lot of aspects of the game where you had to do teamwork and co-op. Like, that game make or break a friendship. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
There were a few arguments.
We tried playing it a year ago on the remastered, and it definitely ended up in an argument of like, dude, get in cover. Like, I don't know where you're at to get in cover.
Yeah. Blind fire so I can find. Blind fire so I can find. I want to be the hero this time. You fucking blind fire.
Yeah, pick me up. No.
I'm doing
You're
good
gonna
over
die,
here.
and you're gonna learn yourself a lesson.
Shoot your gun, I'm dragging you. Like,
Yeah.
So it's what a cool. That is the so that's in the chat. They're saying I'm still missing the Salem part. One of the characters from the video game's name is Salem.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good, so goddamn good. That's so fucking funny. So you guys start doing your wrestling. You lock down the gimmick. You just lock down your names and everything. You're going. You've been all over the place. You've been wrestling at a bunch of different companies, a bunch of different places. When have you found that moment, or are you still searching for it, of like where it just clicks or it blends, or you have that aha moment where you feel like it's all starting to come together?
Ours for me was at PPW. We got a chance to wrestle the Rock and Roll Express, and most of the time you're backstage and you're working on planning your match, and we're all in the indies together, and especially when you get in, you're working guys of your caliber. You're not really getting somebody who's like, all right, like let's build some magic. And if you do get a vet, you typically get a vet that's like, here's my 6 moves. I'll tell you what to do when we get in there. Like, enjoy yourself. And you're like, great, dude, thanks. I feel confident about today. And so when we went in there with them, it was like the perfect blend of like, I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what's up. We're going to have a conversation about what we're doing. Be a professional. Listen, I'm only going to say it once. We're going to go through the match. I'm going to hear your parts. We're going to move forward. And so we were there and we're like, all right, yeah, dude, like this is regimented. This is straight up. This is real. So we're listening to it. And then when we get out there, the amount of in-ring play, the conversations, the back and forth, and where it's us and championship material against Rock and Roll in South Philly. So like we took what was like essentially a 5-minute, like, everyone speak your piece. We'll talk it when we get in there, and we put on like a 15-20 minute, like, just, it felt like pageantry. Like there were moments in there where it didn't feel like you were like having to think about a character, and you were just like reacting to the moment. And I was like, this was like the perfect like flow state of like, we know what we're doing, we're confident in what we need to do, like we're loose in what we're doing. Like they made us, they dragged out a level of performance out of us that we didn't know we could get to, and it was simply by their confidence and having confidence in us, and just where we were at in our time in the career, and just everything that happened that day, the match. We didn't know until we got to the arena that was going to happen. So there weren't like butterflies. It was just like, hey, meet your partners, kids. And we're like, what? Like, so that was the moment for me where I was like, dude, like we're doing something here. We're creating reactions. We're eliciting emotion from the audience. Like this is something that we didn't see to a scale of like, man, everything we're doing is getting reaction. The crowd is invested in this moment right now. And that felt like really empowering to be in a position where you're sharing that with a bunch of really skilled performers.
How long are you guys into your career when you're getting a match at Rock and Roll Express?
Ooh. The shoot answer?
About 7 months.
6-7 months.
That's awesome. So
and that's where I was going to go with my answer with it, is that we had a particular seminar we went to with Tyson Kidd, and my brother, we, little 5-minute matches for Kidd for the seminar. My brother and I worked each other, and it popped and he liked it and we met a lot of people. And since that seminar, so much has changed for us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a steamroll effect since then. And I say it all the time backstage, we're drinking from a fire hose. We're hyper aware where we are year-wise in our career, but whom we surround ourselves with, like you mentioned earlier, or alluded to rather, is the Hispanic male, Sam. Dude's been on AEW, and he's our, like, we travel with him everywhere.
Yeah.
And we learn from him and we pick his brain, like, and all the trainers we've had and all the vets we've talked to. And like he said, we had a whole program with South Philly. Now we're working a whole program with Primal Fear. Like, and it's taking those pieces of information, but it really started from that seminar to me is when we worked that little 5-minute John, and he liked it. And I was like, oh, we might actually be able to do this line of work.
Yeah. Well, I want to put in perspective as well as if Rock and Roll Express, obviously, if it is one of the most historic tag teams of all time. When people talk about how tag team wrestling should be done, they're one of two names that you think about or you hear or you say from. And that's a tag team when they went on that, hey, this is the last of the Rock and Roll tour. And then they're done. They're not doing it anymore. Robert's going to stop. Ricky's still somehow doing crazy shit here and there. But like, the fact that you have championship material, you have those three tag teams who are established, are all guys who have been in the business for a long time, are now like, holy crap, we get to be in the farewell tour of the Rock and Roll Express, and you guys are 6 months in. How, like, mentally going into that, are you like, yo, we have to show up, show out? Or are you like, it's like how you were saying before, or do we sit back and just do what's asked of us? Like,
so
it's you answer first.
We sit in this kind of like interestingly weird situation when we get into moments like this, and it's because of our past in sports and in the military. Like, I played all throughout college. I played semi-pro. I played overseas in Europe. So I played at all levels that to my best of my ability, could. And I've been in, overtime, sudden death shootouts. And we've been in, like nail-biting games across my career. Like, we've been on TV having to do interviews at 19. Like, I've had high-pressure moments. So sitting there before you go out there, like, it's not the nerves of like, oh, my God, what if this, what if that? It's like, it's the dumb things. Like, dude, did I use the bathroom enough before we went? Like, it's never like, I never get nervous about the situation going forward because I always feel so prepared about it, or at least calm in my environment. But it's like the things I know I can't control. Like, oh man, I hope I don't get slammed and toot. Like,
that was a question we asked in personal one day. Is, do you have a shit your pants story? You do not yet. You get close to
came close.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. That was the fastest powder out one will ever see. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I'm hurt.
Like, he's selling that splash. Weird.
That's super dope that you enter that mind state of just like, you've been here before, just go do it. That's super. That's sick. But yeah, like, the put in perspective, that's kind of like if Sting was like, hey, we're doing a farewell. I'm like, these last 6 matches are mine, and you're one of those 6. Like, that's a big deal. And you guys are one of the teams. Now, I didn't see the match. I have to go back and watch it on PPW or wherever it may be now, because they move services every 6 months.
Yeah.
Who took the Destroyer? He didn't do a Destroyer? Ricky didn't do a Destroyer?
They didn't run that.
Yeah, we didn't get a Destroyer. It would have probably been Vinnie Mac, to be fair.
Yeah, he
would have been. He
wanted a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, because like you're saying, it's a pride of honor at that point, like something to put in our pin cap.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of actually arguing. I'm taking. No, I'm taking. I want to do this. No, I want to do that with them. So it was a really interesting match in that regard. But I think for my answer to that question for that day, we didn't know we were working them when we showed up.
Oh.
We showed up, we were doing ring crew, we were doing what we do. It wasn't until Paul and Tony showed up where they were like, hey, change of plans. And we're like, oh, it's wrestling. Fucking par for the course at this point. And they're like, yeah, you're going to work with championship material. And we're like, oh, sweet. We like championship material. And they're like, yeah, you're going to go against South Philly. Oh, we're in a story with South Philly. That makes sense. Against Rock and Roll Express. And we're like, we're going to do what? With who? With that? Wait. And it completely, like, we sat down. We were like, we're going to do what? Right. And, we're trying to hold the facade as much as possible of like, yeah, nah, We got this. The minute they walked away, we're like, Mom, Dad, you won't believe.
Yeah, you should turn this one on.
You won't believe what's happening tonight.
That happened to me and BP. We were at Hamburg for the first Legends of Hamburg Fan Fest, and we showed up early just to kind of get content and see what's going on. And they're like, "Yo, Blackwell, I know this is last minute, but do you want to host the demolition Q&A?" And I was like, "Yes, yes, I do." I was like, "Can I film it?" And they're like, "Yes." I was like, "BP, we're doing it." And it was me and BP essentially hosting a demolition Q&A. Like I'll never wrestle them, but as a content creator, I worked with demolition. Like I was like,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, super dope. But that's fucking crazy. That like you guys have 6 months in and you're putting matches together like that. Like, and I've seen you guys in a lot of different environments. I've seen you in the Northeast scene. I think the one I was most impressed with used to was your match at BYOB at in that thing, because that ring was too small for two big guys like you.
Yeah. Oh man.
So
I think each one of you can put your feet in one corner and touch the other corner. It was tiny. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 6'5" and Damien is about 6'3". So we do occupy a large amount of space in the ring. So 100%. And we actually, the funny thing about that ring is we used that ring on our very first bumps. So we were well adjusted to, this is how you have to move in this small of a ring. Because when we first got to an 18 and a 20, we were like, "Yo,
y'all have so much room for activities. What the hell?"
Right? We've been wrestling in the apartment the whole night, like. So
yeah.
It was
plus stacks, Ricky.
Plus stacks, yeah.
The one who did not understand the canon gimmick at all.
Yeah.
No disrespect to everyone that night. Everyone put on a great performance, but that tag match was my match of the night. I really, really enjoyed that one. I didn't even know I was doing commentary that day. I showed up and like, "You and Pete on commentary." I was like, "All right, let's do it." Like that was just kind of like, I wasn't expecting it. I was very thankful I was able to, but that was a really fun match between you two, Ricky Price and Stacks versus Brothers Gray. Let's kind of switch gears here a little bit. We're getting close. Actually, before we do that, do you guys have anything coming up that you guys want to talk about? Anything you're excited about in the world of professional wrestling?
Oh, baby.
And then we'll end all wrestling talk, and I have a few more fun bonus questions. Yeah.
So yeah, dude, this has been the bountiful year. Like this is the gift that keeps on giving, and like where it's just all blessings and like just positive energy and vibes from us from what's happened so far. So we leave in about 2-3 weeks to go down to Florida again. So this will be our second trip down to Florida, but this will be our first run with WWC.
Yep.
So
from Puerto Rico, the WWC Florida extension. So that's going to be really cool. We're wrestling with Sam on their anniversary show. So that's going to be crazy.
Yep. We're wrestling Philly for WrestleMania weekend.
Yep.
We've got
4-4 and 4-7.
Yeah, we have the We Are 5-star show out there. And then in May, we have about a 9-day tour of Australia. And we have a couple shows, a couple dates out on the other side of the world, trying to experience everything that's wrestling.
Do you know where in Australia you'll be?
Sydney.
I don't think that's very close to them. If I'm not, I might be wrong. Raz, if you're in the chat, let me know.
You can put a little banner against our name. It just says like willing to travel.
Well, Raz and like two of my biggest supporters, Raz and his wife Anastasia, are both they live in Australia.
Oh,
like they're the reason I got to England. Like they were like,
yeah. So sick.
Like you had it pretty shitty. It's on us. Here's your plane ticket. We'll see you. And then I met this dude that I never met in personal ever, just through content and talking pro wrestling. And this dude, essentially, we met from two different sides of the globe in London, England, for a wrestling show. It was pretty wild.
I love that. Well, that's the beauty of this industry. Like all the ups and downs, the craziness, like. The community that wrestling builds and fosters is like one of the most beautiful things I've ever.
It's wild how it's always never the people that are in your immediate camp who are the ones who do that. It's like, wait,
right?
Yeah. I wish I had more local listeners and support, but it's all like everyone. Essentially, everyone in the chat except like 2 people are not Northeast Pennsylvania. Like, yeah,
we're at home.
We're not from up here either.
Right. Yeah. But that's crazy. Well, and I just want to give him his flowers too. I don't want to go too much into him because he's definitely somebody. He's been ducking and dodging in me, and actually, we just always never can get it done. But Sam Adams, you said the guy that's been taking you around a lot of places, dude. That guy, he's a class act dude, man. He was one of the ones when like I first got into independent wrestling. He was part of a tag team that was as popular, if not as popular, as South Philly's Finest, which is not easy to do because they are over like Grover everywhere they go. And then you had teams like Main Event, who are now like in their early infancy stages of Main Event, who are now some of the biggest guys in the Northeast scene. And like Sam was with his tag team partner, who is essentially like they were just as popular, if not the popular tag team. They held PPW tag team titles a lot. So it's kind of cool. And he also is a solo guy too. Like he's held his own on his own as a solo guy. So as someone who you're kind of hitching your horse to and learning from, and the guy's been through insanely crazy adversity. Like he had a point in his career where he didn't think he was going to wrestle anymore because of a bad motorcycle accident. Like it's a good guy to be around. And he's a good guy in this business. And I'm always a fan of Sam Adams.
Yeah. And it was something interesting to us because, you know, there's a lot of whispers backstage throughout I'm assuming wrestling culture, especially up here, but I've never heard someone say something bad about Sam.
Yeah, no.
In any locker room, any promotion, even before Syndicate, before they knew we were cool with him. I've never heard someone ever say something bad about Sam.
Yeah.
I've never seen him be selfish. That's the biggest thing. Like I've never seen him in a situation where it's like that doesn't work for me, brother.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like he's a good human. I love Sam to death. So anything else? You said you go Australia. Anything else going on, or
that's it for the first half of the year? That's everything we have on the books. There's a lot more talks, a lot more conversations, but nothing official yet.
Well, that just sounds to me as like a part 2, and then all right. So besides pro wrestling, we got all that nonsense out of the way. Who even likes pro wrestling?
Yeah, it's only a thing we do all the time.
This shit's for nerds, right? No, my whole backdrop is. What are some of the things that you guys do in your free time that is not wrestling related that you kind of is your escape? Maybe some hobbies, other forms of pop culture media you're into. What is your escape?
I'm gonna go first, so then my brother could take the wheel. I love playing video games. I've been super deep into Helldivers recently. That game has an addiction to me. It's so sad. As you can tell from our wall, we love collecting pops. I know Lily asked our favorite pop she wanted to talk about before we were done.
We have one of our father.
That one's pretty special and a unique.
The three that are over here on the side corner is actually a pop of myself, Damien, and the pop above it is a U.S. Airman. It's a black U.S. Airman, so it's of our father.
Yeah,
and he signed it when he came up the last time we visited him, and we all saw each other. So sentimentally, if there's one that survives the fire, it's that handful. But the one on top, because we can always make our own again, but we can't get that one back. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the heartfelt answer.
What's the big one in the middle? Is that a Galactus?
Yeah,
we got Galactus, we got All Might, we got Shenron. What you want?
I got something for that.
I noticed the Galactus. I'm a big. I hope they do Galactus justice in the Marvel MCU when they bring.
And then the one right above the Galactus, not the Ultimate Warrior, but the one right next to it is a Thor. It's Thor,
it's the neon synthwave, 80s edition. Thor.
I had a ton of Marvel DC pops, and essentially they paid for the start of my podcast. So when I was starting podcasting, I sold all of my collectibles. I Kevin Smithed it. I sold all of my stuff to start my dream 6 years ago of podcasting. So I don't have any of my Marvel or DC pops anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say once we make the big move, I'm sure
that wall's gonna get because it goes below the couch too. It's not just those 3 rows; it goes below the couch to the ground.
So if you guys ever split and you guys find your own places to live,
we're
gonna
you guys have to
divorce
the pops.
Oh man, I'm gonna need a lawyer for that shit.
It's gonna look like a fantasy football league. You're gonna come in. There's gonna be a spreadsheet. They're gonna be ranked. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, your turn.
I get first. I get first draft. I'm the youngest. It's what it is. Their house rules. I don't make them. We just live them. So, I do a lot. It was most of my days off are spent working. Was before the wrestling and still am most of the time a culinarian. I was a certified pit master, so I do smoking and I run a restaurant. So I'm out there a lot handling that. But on the few moments of off time I can get, my favorite IP is Warhammer. So we get to enjoy the Shayna Baszlers of the world and playing Warhammer. and hanging out and just enjoying drinking a beer, relaxing. And Wednesday's Warhammer, and it's like
Warhammer is very similar to like Dungeons and Dragons, right? It's
like kind
of,
but on like a full army scale. Yeah, but there's miniatures and there's measuring, but it's been a lot of fun, and it's something that I didn't get into until I was already like living out here. It's been like maybe 2 years. But one of the guys from the first companies we worked at is the owner of the Gamers Edge out in Stroudsburg. And he was like, hey, man, I'm trying to get it started up. I know you have your Wednesday nights off. Like, would you mind coming down and like hanging out? So I was like, yeah, dude, I'm free. I'll come hang out. I'll support my friends always. And I went there and like hanging out, talking to everybody, being a part of that community. Just like, I loved every bit of it. So I was like, yeah, all right, this is definitely a hobby for me. As long as video games are fun, but it's the person-to-person interaction. Like half the reason I play video games is to be in a party chat to hang out with my friends anyway.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm playing video games, and we have a Discord community, which no shameless plug there. But if you ever need a place to go hang out and talk and find like-minded people in wrestling or pop culture, any of that, I feel like our Discord is the place to be. It is the cult of ABJ but I literally just go in the Discord and I chat with people till like 4 a.m. and lose track of time and play video games. It's definitely a home for me. I'll ask you this question, and we'll rephrase it when your brother comes back, or ask him as well. Do you guys have like a secret talent besides pro wrestling, or a skill that you guys are good at that somebody may not know?
All right, yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, you're the first one to get this question. This is a newer thing I'm trying out.
All right,
so when all your other favorite podcasters start asking it, I'm getting lifted again. So you guys can do it. Just give your boy ABJ the credit,
So I grew up in my thing along with playing sports was I loved choir. I sang. I got into high school, and I ended up at a school that was super competitive at choir, and I wasn't expecting it, but you had to take an elective. And the machine shop was all booked out for the year. So I was like, all right, I'll take the performing art because you had to do it anyway. So I was like, cool, I'll get in the choir. And it was serious. It was a full-time sport. You got a letter for it. It was everything. So we ended up, my sophomore year, we traveled out to Europe. We did like Amsterdam, Belgium, France, Germany. And then my senior year, we did Barcelona, Madrid. We did a whole tour around Spain.
Jesus
we sang through there. My senior year of high school, I was the second in the state for male operatic solos. And that was like my big claim to fame. My first reasoning for going to college was on a full ride for a choral degree to go sing and be a choir teacher. And then I got into the first day of class, and then the teacher was very upfront and serious with us. And she was like, anybody who has this as your major, I'm going to tell you right now, you're purchasing a major to go back and be a teacher. And I was like, I'm good. I was like, and so since then I haven't sang competitively or anything like that, other than just like enjoying hanging out. Yeah, I'm sure people backstage, hear me all the time humming or singing something. But yeah, I sing
Damien,
quite a bit.
You tell me you play fucking drums, I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Right nah, I am not musically.
We are not the Step Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a whole nother gimmick. We have Dudley Boys 2.0. We have Prestige Worldwide. Like I'm telling you, I would have had a heart attack. Yeah. The question was: is there any secret talent or skill that you have that somebody may not know?
So anybody who has met me since high school doesn't know I used to be an armed drill team member. So like if you like the people who twirl the rifles, like the Marine silent drill team, that was me in high school. Mm-hmm. I remember there's a picture somewhere, please internet, don't go find it, of me winning. I was like a junior. Yeah, junior in high school, and I won a rifle twirl off. So like you step inside this little square, and it's you, a rifle, and you spin it. And you're supposed to keep this military bearing and have all of this. Looking back on it, it's funny. I thought I was Billy Bad shit. It was hilarious. But no,
remember the conversation we had at the bar after the show? We're like, what made you gay in high school? I sang
Did you go into a competition to watch my brother stand in front of somebody else and just go, this.
Yo, what are
I
those
was
two
like, get
really?
it, Dean. Yeah.
What are those two really scary looking brothers do? Oh, one's an opera singer and the other one twirls guns.
Yeah, and they're like, anyways, all right, so South Philly.
We also did like Muay Thai.
We did a bunch of Vegas-y stuff
Yeah.
too. Like I've been a raver since I was
we do a lot of EDM
18 because it's
the legal answer.
because it's the legal answer. I've been a raver for that long. I've done a lot of other cool stuff.
Yeah,
but that's the one that came to my front of my
That's hilarious. I love that. That's cool though. That's like a neat. Thank you. I appreciate that, Austin, for letting me know that link's not working.
You're
You're
gonna need to see the whatever spot we come up with. Somebody hands him like a plastic rifle, and he's like starts shaking, starts spinning and going ham. You're just like, oh god, this is some Winter Soldier shit right here, man.
Bring a rifle, a spinning rifle.
So good.
Show.
Please don't bring rifles to our shows.
Please don't bring rifles to the show. Please don't bring rifles to the show. Please.
Can you do it with a broomstick, or is it not the same weight distribution?
I can kind of do it with a broomstick.
We'll figure it. We'll get the weight distribution on the candlestick right. There we go. We'll work a candlestick into it.
All right, and last one.
That man got real kung fu-y.
Yeah. Last question is going to be, and then we'll get to any questions in the chat. So if you guys are here live, I do like to go to the chat. If anyone has any questions, you can ask the team before we get them out of here. If so, you guys are into like the pop culture, the pops, everything like that. So I'll give you 3 pieces of media. You can do a video game, a movie, and you can even throw a book in there. You can give me a handful, or you can do a whole bunch of movies or whole TV shows, however you want to split it up. But what are some of your favorite pieces of media?
Ooh. All right, I'll start in reverse order. So I'll go the book first. In middle school, we read a book, and it's called Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie. And I don't do a lot of reading, and I'm not a guy to sit down and crack open a good book. Like, that's just not me. But I remember reading the story, and it's about like a brother and his situation with his little brother going through like chemo, and like him going through middle school with all this like crazy world changes, and just like seeing it, and like you're at that point in your life in like 6th and 7th grade where you're like, no one understands what I'm going through. Like every feeling I'm having is isolated emotion, and no one would ever understand. I'm reading this book, and I'm like, damn, yo, like this is I'm crying. I'm crying on paper. What am I doing here? And so that one, it's a very obscure book, and it's definitely not on some top readers list. But of anything I've ever read, that is the one that stuck with me, and I'm like, it was my favorite book I've ever read.
Nice.
TV shows, we are currently on this Shogun kick. That is like we're waiting for Tuesday morning every week to watch the next episode. At this point, it is outrageous. Yeah, we are having so much fun with it.
Are you guys in the same, like a couple where like you're not allowed to watch it without each other?
Yes, it depends on the show. It depends on the show. We do have our ones where it's like, if it's really good, like motherfucker, you do not go forward. But
I like that though. You guys will sit in the same room and watch a show together. Like I think that's a cool thing to do. I think there's this point in life where couples or relationships or brothers or best friends, that's a moment that you kind of lose with your friend. Like when you used to sit in the couch and watch a show together, or play a video game. Like it's like a lost art. So the fact that you guys are like, yo, Tuesday, it's our day, let's go watch a show. I think that's kind of cool
nowadays, because like when we all were growing up, we didn't have Hulu, Netflix, YouTube to watch it whenever we wanted to. It was hey, 8 o'clock, motherfucker, we're sitting in front of the TV, we're gonna watch whatever, and then we're gonna keep it pushing. Yeah, but you're right, it is a lost little connection.
And we still do like play games together. Like right over here is my TV and game station, and we're currently on Damien's. And like tonight at midnight, MLB The Show drops.
24.
So like, we have an alarm set, we have a timer set. We play together on the same team.
My brother in the chat, who actually became a member at the beginning of this stream, he is a MLB streamer. He does very, very well on Twitch. Yeah, he's pretty good at it, and he has a pretty big following at it. His name is Captain Butters on Twitch.
Nice. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe you guys can link up and play some baseball. Awesome. I'm terrible at baseball.
So yeah, I was gonna say it's not something we do too often anymore as our schedules have gotten busier and busier. But we do try to stream on Twitch as much as we can. But our Twitch thing is, and this is like our last of our big guilty pleasures. So I'm gonna replace movie with like favorite thing to do.
Yes.
Is Formula One. We fucking love Formula One.
Okay.
Diehard Red Bull fans
since
the original days, and
since pre-Verstappen.
Yeah, the pre-Verstappens. Yeah. So, which it doesn't feel great to say it out loud. I'm sorry, guys. But, we have I have a simulator, and Damien has a controller, and it got to the point during COVID we were like ranked in the world. Like we love racing.
We have a whole simulator. It's just in the living room.
I had one. I gave it away. I don't have it. I do. So there was a moment right during COVID or right before COVID where me and a bunch of people were obsessed with the NASCAR video game. We sucked at it, but we had a blast doing it. And we were like, "Yo, let's just get in the NASCAR. Let that be our thing. We'll NASCAR." And dude, we were drunk at a bar, and I spent $120 on old school 2000s 2000s denim jackets that look like the team racing jackets. So I have a Rusty Wallace Miller Light and a Rusty Wallace Miller Genuine Draft one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm actually losing a lot of weight. I can actually start wearing them. So, but now it's getting warm, so I have to hopefully I don't pack on the pounds before next winter. But
fall comes in, I'm gonna be looking hot, baby.
Yeah, I'm rocking in. I'm rocking in my Rusty jacket. What's your Twitch channel?
The Brothers Gray.
Yep. Some underscore somewhere in there. I think it's _brothers_gray.
Is it on your link tree that you guys sent me?
Ooh, I don't believe I did, to be 100% honest.
It's on our Instagrams.
Oh no, it's in there. It's in the links below. Your Twitch channel is below.
Look at us.
Definitely your Instagram, your Twitch channel, and your Teespring are all linked below.
Yep.
Yeah, sweet.
Cool. Anything else that you guys are into?
Let's see. Love anime. Have loved anime since we were in middle school when we used to get thrown in garbage cans for it. I used to always joke because when we got into high school and we started doing the lacrosse and football stuff, I used to always joke. I was like, "Oh no, we were nerds first. We just became the size of athletes."
Yeah.
Our biological father played in the NFL, and we always did sports.
Mm-hmm.
They were just never the forefront of our care or passion.
We like anime.
We were just good at them, so we were like, I guess we keep doing this.
Yeah. All right. I guess if a college wants to talk to me about football, I'll keep playing football. Cool.
Right.
Yeah. So anime.
I always wanted to be an NFL player. I always wanted to play in the Super Bowl. Anything like that. And then he's like, my kids, one's singing choir and the other one's twirling rifles.
Oh yeah, dude. There had to have been at least one baseball moment in our father.
All of their genetics are perfect. They are 6 foot, over 6 foot, 200-pound monsters.
Well, here's the thing: our older brother played for Bobby Brown at Florida State, so we have Bobby Brown, Florida State. All right, our two dumbasses. He had to have been like,
right?
Where did I fuck this up?
Yeah,
I remember getting
goddamn
was just like,
that after school program, TNA Wrestling, ruined my boy's dreams.
Yeah, he had dreams of the big time, the show time, the lights. He wanted to be the best tap dancer this side of Mississippi.
Is there any other media before we get into? We have some questions in the chat.
Just the normal stuff. Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all the trilogy stuff that I can binge watch. Harry Potter, all the stuff I can waste.
I just seen Harry Potter for the first time this year. I watched Harry Potter for the first time ever this year.
Bro, look at me. I thought I was him growing up. I had a little scar on my forehead. I had glasses. I had black hair. I was like
circular Johns too.
That's me.
Amy was watching the movie and he was like, I was like, swear to God, you say I look like Ron. I reach across this goddamn theater and beat you up.
So Gabe Hodder walked into the show on Saturday and he's like, I was like, yo, man, your glasses look real good. He's like, thanks, man. I hated them. I thought I'd look stupid, but everyone's complimenting me, so I guess I'll be into it. And he's walking by and the face paint's on. I'm like, you won't go paint your face like the Warrior or something or Sting. Yeah. Like, I'll put a big butterfly on my face. I said, or you can just save your money, just do a lightning bolt with those glasses. You look just like Harry. He's like, go shut up, man.
Nice.
That's why I love pro wrestling. We can bust each other's balls.
That's a good segue.
Let's go to that one first. What are your Hogwarts houses?
You first.
I am a Hufflepuff, ride or die Hufflepuff. I have never missed the Hufflepuff in a quiz. We went to like the Hogwarts, like you did the little tour, and this was right after Prisoner of Azkaban came back. And they were like at the Natural Science Museum. So we were up there with our father for the summer. So he took us to the exhibit, and they had like the little sorting hat thing. And we're sitting there, and my dad's like, all right, I'm going to tell you, it's randomized. Like, don't take what this thing is about to say as some type of law. Like, if you think you're Hufflepuff, you're a Hufflepuff. Like, believe it to your heart. I sit down. This hat didn't even hit my head, dog. It lifted and said Hufflepuff. I was like, yeah, what's up?
My story's not as good. I'm a Gryffindor.
Hell yeah, teammate character
I'm
energy.
not as entertaining as that.
So I was gifted these by one of the listeners. This is and then we bought two of them. We bought two. We were gifted two. So this is the one that was gifted. No. I got Snape.
There you go.
I got Snape's wand, and then I got the Daddy wand.
Yes.
And then we did two mystery wands. And I got my boy Harry's.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
And I don't know the female teacher, not the one who was like the House of Gryffindor. Yeah, her. Yeah. So that's the 4 wands I have. Yeah.
Nice. I know my brother is gonna go find ours, but this is how much we were into it. For my 25th birthday, before COVID in 2019, we went to Harry Potter and did the whole fucking world. We got the robes, we got the interactive wands, we did butterbeer. The fucking breakfast, we did everything. It was awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the movies. I didn't think I was going to, because I like as a kid I was like, oh, these are definitely geared towards kids and I'm not going to be into it. Mm-hmm. But like as you progress the movies, they definitely grow with you. Yeah, they grow with you. Oh man. You know what? I think Lily's probably going to hate me for this, but I've been doing Not Cool in High School episodes, and Harry Potter has been on the list.
Uh-huh.
And I think we're doing a 4-way Harry Potter episode. I think it's gonna be myself, Lily, and the Brothers Gray we talk about Harry Potter.
I'm all for it. For it. Yo, I took don't tell my job this. I took off work when Hogwarts Legacies dropped.
I just beat that too. It was really good. It was really good. The only problem is I used to get really frustrated because Lily would tell me stuff before it was happening because she's so excited. Oh, that's really cool.
Yep, he got the interactive Voldemort wand. It was a good time.
I don't like Voldemort. He's kind of a bitch.
We do. We're like that's
your heels. But like
that's our shit.
As a character, I was expecting him to be a lot more gangster, but he's kind of a puss. He was a puss.
Well, it's always interesting to me because Voldemort got taught by Dumbledore, who fought Grindelwald. So I'm like, is Voldemort really as bad as Grindelwald? And then they dropped that entire movie series bag, and I was like, I guess I'll never know. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And Lily says she's Team Hufflepuff, but she recently just took a quiz and now she's Slytherin or something. I don't know.
Well, then she must love that.
Or Ravenclaw or something. Yeah. Her favorite in the movie was Sirius Black. That was her favorite character of the whole movie.
Nocturnally?
Yeah, the Nocturnally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I watched my favorite in all of the Harry Potter is Bellatrix Lestrange. And so when I saw her wand and mask, I was looking at the Voldemort wand I had in my hand, and I was like, well, this wasn't at the other store. Leave a sign that says the one you want is in the other alley, dog. Like,
yeah.
I'm walking.
I was Team Harry the whole way. I was Team Harry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely Gryffindor the entire way through. And then everyone's kind of like, if you come at me with that bullshit that what's his name's the actual chosen one, I will spit in your face.
Neville?
He's not. Neville's not the chosen one. Yo, the universe was like, bro, we have thrown so much at Harry, we have to eventually throw him a bone. And every person that we throw a bone to help Harry drops the fucking ball. And this kid stepped in shit and actually got it right. Like, you're not going to tell me that Michael Jordan carried the Bulls for 6 seasons and did everything he did, and Stephen Curry hits 1 point, hits a game winner, and now Curry's the greatest Bull player of all time? Stop it.
I love it. Oh,
I like that in like the theory of this, like he's the unforgotten kid and has the best glow up of the series, and Harry is the same height he is at the beginning of the series. Neville, I get it, you weren't, but you won, buddy. Just
Take the sword. It's a dub. You're not married to your best friend's little sister of 4 years. Maybe meet somebody not from the same 6 houses.
So before you branch out on this, he was talking about having ABJ, the Brothers Gray, and Lily on for a 4-way Harry Potter podcast. I was like, bet, absolutely bet.
We can do it.
And we're gonna have because I'm a content guy. I got to spice it out. We're not doing a whole series in one movie. Like we're doing part 1, and then maybe next month we do part 2. Like we're spacing it out.
I'm so down.
I have so many people who want to do trilogies with me that I'm super. I have Harleen who wants to do the Saw franchise.
Ooh.
I have Sam. I have Sonny Defarge who wants to do the Terminators. My buddy Ralph wants to do Back to the Future. What's another franchise I was hit with that somebody wants to do? I think that was the only. We're doing Terrifier 1 and 2, awesome. and now Harry Potter. So we have another franchise. Awesome. So another question here. Billy the Kid says, any figures? Well, they have their own pops, but do you guys collect any other figures besides pops?
So after the TNA thing happened, I got really into the wrestling figures, and the starting of looking at wrestling less is like, this is TV, or this is production fighting. And to do something with it was I used to take the wrestlings and I did stop motion like action. So I did the photos, I'm playing the matches, I was booking cards, I was doing production, I was cutting vignettes, I was doing the whole kit and caboodle, brother. And there is a deep annal of history of which they still exist. I have recently watched.
Our father sends it to us all the time. Before a big match, he'll send us a match that my brother produced in middle school. Like, don't forget where you came from. Right. Don't forget where you came from.
So I'm waiting for the WWE, like how they got their episode, and then I'll let them know what that very secret username is. I'll be like, take it, save the footage, delete the shit.
Yeah. Billy actually made me a figure. There's a 1-of-1 ABJ figure in existence, and it's hilarious how he made it. Because if you look at me, how do you make a ABJ wrestling figure? And the answer is you take Kevin Owens' body and put AJ Styles' hair on me.
There you go. It makes it a lot easier now that I don't have the mustache. When I had the mustache, I was like, so it's essentially just Mr. Potato Head with like a Mattel body. I was like, I don't know.
How'd you let your mustache go down and around? Because when my mustache starts touching my mouth,
mine starts doing like some deal burst.
Drives me bananas.
It was all the way down to here, so it went from here to down to here, and it was impossible. I got to the point where I couldn't eat. Like I was holding it up and like pinning it and be like, give me a wrap. Like it got aggressive. But I have, I guess, like a tiny upper lip, but it's just genetics. So it just grew, but it like grew in an arc. So I was like, everyone's like, you don't feel it on your lips. I was like, doesn't touch my lips, goes right past the motherfucking things.
Yeah. And then the last one here, well, unless anyone else has any last ones here that they want to get any last questions, please get them in. Lily says your favorite wrestlers past and present.
Ooh.
Okay.
Favorite wrestler past is Rick Rude.
For me, definitely.
Rick Rude.
I have a Rude figure.
Yeah. Hey. That's what started the mustache. That's what started the choice of how I looked. And then present,
I'm collecting the Walmart series where they're all mainly shredded, and it has the
Viva la Playboy.
Oh, I love
it.
Awesome.
WrestleMania 5 gear. I have a Rude. I love Rude.
Awesome.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, so that, and then man, it's so hard to deny how good Will Ospreay is, man. Watching his work, like when you're sitting there and you're watching, you're like, oh man, like it's not out of our realm of possibility of like watching TV at this point and being like, damn, there's a shot we get to work one of these guys at some point in time. Yeah. And that's the one where it's like, damn, if we do, I'm going to call the health insurance people beforehand. I'm going to be like, yo, the rates are going to go up. I'm going to let you know right now.
I'm covered, right?
Yeah, don't watch it.
It has a all right, cool.
It's a work plague accident. That's all I'm going to let you know.
Yeah. Oh, man, for me, well, present for sure is Smojo. If you watch how I work, how I move, I've always loved Smojo. Ever since we started watching it back from the TNA days, when he was doing his undefeated streak out of his ROH run. Actually, we did a seminar with Smojo, and that was the wildest experience for me I've ever had in a ring. Because I had Smojo in a headlock, and I'm like, What am I doing?
He actually rolled with you guys. That's really cool.
Yeah, so we were doing the drill, and then just like, hey, put me in a headlock, come here, and then he was explaining how to like work out of it, but still just like being around him and his intensity permeates.
Were you guys at the Jay Lethal seminar?
No.
That was unbelievable. He chain wrestled every single person there for at least 15, 20 minutes. Like everyone got to work a 20-minute match with Jay Lethal. And then he quick runs in the back, comes out, does a meet and greet, and then stayed in the promo room the whole night and helped everybody with their promos. Like Jay Lethal was that.
What a bless.
Yeah.
I remember we loved him since growing up watching the TNA product. My favorite tag team was Jay Lethal's The Black Machismo with Sanjay Dutt. I didn't know that Macho Man and Hogan had their thing. Like this was the first marriage in wrestling I had seen. So I was like, this is groundbreaking, riveting content here. And everyone in the crowd was like, it's really not, man.
It's a spoof. This is a spoof.
Yeah. But I was invested. I was like, how you gonna leave Jay for Sanjay, dude? Like, what are you doing? I felt some type of way about it. I was like, if I see Val in the parking lot, I'm gonna have some words with her. That was not cool. That's my boy.
So I have a double question here. It's kind of like on that last one of your favorite wrestlers, past and present. Neither one of you said a tag team, which is interesting because you're tag team wrestlers. And also, is there a future of the Brothers Gray where you guys have single runs?
So we both like singles wrestlers, but when it comes to tag teams, every brother tag team, and I've said this before in other podcasts, and I'll happily say it here, we love watching how brothers maneuver through the business. Not only in ring, but the outer ring stuff, because as anyone who does this business knows, those are my brother, his first match was at 1CW down in Delaware. So we would have loved to at least meet those gentlemen, but any brother tag team we would love to work with. Motor City Machine Guns were definitely our favorite. And if you've seen a little bit of our newer stuff, now that we're getting a little bit more comfortable, we're trying to pick up how they used to have their sequences with like a 6-move deep sequence. We're trying to do that too, in homage to them. And I know they're still working. They're still alive, working in TNA to this day. And
it's another one of those, like, it's not too far away from that dartboard, man. That could be a goal.
That'd be
it would be a cool brothers tag team matchup. And if anyone can get it done, is probably Smash Master Wrestling. Brothers Gray versus Ace Austin and Skylar.
Oh, okay. And Skylar, yeah.
Skylar Kincaid.
That would be a good time.
Just I just say, look at Salem.
He just you got my spidey senses all tingling.
You're welcome. Our 5-star can book it. Anyone can book it. I'm just saying. I think it'd be a cool. That's a Northeast tag team brothers right there.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
Yeah, we could absolutely at 5-star.
Hey, Joe,
right.
Sam, hey,
get the bucks out. Ace Austin ain't cheap.
Right.
Ain't that the truth?
But yeah, and you said, and you guys kind of said a hard no to that. So there's no chance in the future you guys ever do a solo or singles run.
There's always the, like, God forbid one of us gets injured. Like, we're not gonna be like, well, I'm done. I'm not working if you're not working. Like, yeah, we'll still wrestle. We'll still do our thing. We have no will or interest to separate or do a singles run if it's avoidable at all costs. We understand that, like, storylines are going to go where storylines need to go. But at the end of the day, our brand is us as brothers. And what got us into wrestling was, like, the togetherness of it. And like, that's what we're here for. Like, it's taken 28 years for someone to try and pull us apart, and it damn sure ain't going to be this. So, like, it's got to be some deep shit to make us want to separate or go into a feud against each other. So it's never a no, because there's always the moment where, the story looks good. It's making sense. It's like Jimmy and Jay, like, yeah, dude, if they ask you to wrestle WrestleMania with your brother, like, yeah, dude, we're breaking up the tag team.
All eyes in the wrestling world are focused on me and my brother for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that.
So there is a possibility, but like, the beauty in us is, like, we don't fold under pressure. We yell at each other as much as we want, but we know at the end of the day the other one is still always going to be there for us. We don't let that shit go.
Man, I'll tell you this right now. If you're coming in late, because I've seen some more people popping in here towards the end, this is definitely one you go back and listen to. Guys, thank you so much for your time. This is exactly the reason why I moved you guys up the list. And if you are on the list and you got bumped, it's sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Having that personal conversation will always get you ahead in the ABJ podcast because I have that personal interaction. I'm like, I'm genuinely interested to learn more. And we were kind of talking at the bar. I was like, shut up, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Save that for the day. Like I'm very happy with this. I'm not only just a fan of you guys as humans, but also your work. And after today's interview, man, I'm even one over more. Like I am a Brothers Gray mark. And the fact that you guys wear black and gold is a huge thing, because obviously my podcast colors are very black and gold.
Our branding's on the nose on that one.
Yeah. But man, it's I appreciate you guys so goddamn much, and I can't wait for more of the future of you guys, and just keep grinding and do what you got to do. Fantastic story. Where can people find and support you guys?
We are on, our easiest ways are going to be Instagram and Facebook. They're both under Salem Gray _, Damian Gray _, and the Brothers Gray _. We're super easy to find. Anything you search up with the Brothers Gray, we're going to be the first things to come up. And we have a website that leads to our store for online purchases for any of our merchandise and apparel. And we also have our upcoming matches. There's a whole breakdown of our entire history of every match we've ever had on there. So you can see everything we've done. You know, we're pretty transparent about, you know, what we do, and we love our art. We love our craft. So we try to represent it on that website as much as possible.
Yep.
Awesome.
And then love you too, miss you too, Billy. And then follow this guy. If you guys are just tuning in to see the Brothers Gray, follow this man. Help him reach 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Follow him on all platforms. Trust us, this is a dude you want to watch.
There's best reels in the business.
Oh, best. We've done a lot of work. We've done a lot of podcasts. This is by far the easiest hour and a half. Wow, literally an hour and a half. This is by far the easiest hour and a half we were able to do. Follow this man. It's not only wrestling that he puts on this platform. Follow him. You will be entertained. Absolutely.
I will. Well, I'll appreciate that segues into here some stuff. Links below to follow myself as my guest. There is merchandise and t-shirts. I promise you, I have more logo spoofs than anyone in the game. And I haven't even uploaded them all yet. But if you want to grab some merchandise, we do have the brand new Japan spoof that's out now. Ooh. The ABJ podcast. I put a little bear in there because my hometown is the Golden Bears, and the voice of the indies. I struggled with that because I didn't want to just be like the voice of the wrestling indies, because I like indie music and indie art and indie everything. So I try to give it. And then because our colors are black and gold, we got that spoof as well.
I love it so much.
Dynamite came out with a new logo, so of course, you know, Witchcraft by Lily had to spoof it. So we got the new Dynamite. Get ready for Mania with the 2 ABJ Mania logos. And then 316 is 2 days away, but I don't do 316, but I definitely do 570 and 666. So get that merchandise. And we have a pod, maybe another one coming on the next month on the 20th to keep your eye out for. Content coming up soon. Every Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we do hangouts with ABJ while I'm doing Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite. If you want to be on the podcast and get kind of moved up the ladder and have that interaction, it's a great place to come in. I always drop the link that anyone can come in and join and talk. We will be live again on this Sunday for the history of Ole Anderson on Tornado Tag Podcast. Me and BP break down a lot of old school wrestling. We just did the Crusher and Bruiser a week before that. So if you want to learn that old school stuff, I just did a review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Mayhem. And then one of these guys rivals, but mutual respect here. On Tuesday, I'll be live again for episode 120 with Gabriel Hodder. And then on Thursday, we will be back for our first episode of Knoxville High School Horror with Courtney as we cover Terrifier. Oh, is that my primal fear out protest there?
I don't want to talk about it.
And then last but not least, we are part of the Ben Frank Connection. So go check out the Opinion City podcast. We are the two podcast creators who are coming together under the Ben Frank connection, and we have exclusive merchandise that you only get through them, and all those proceeds go to keep things like StreamYard alive and the programs we use to keep the podcast alive. So go and get that special Ben Frank Connection Club editions. Even Lily's got her own shirt with that Witchcraft Club right there. So we got ABJ, Royalty, Russell, and Witchcrafts. Make sure you go check out the links below for that also. Guys, it's been a blast.
Oh, it's been awesome.
Let's get out of here so you guys can go play your video games and Formula One race and sing in the shower and twirl guns. Let's get that. All right. That'll do it for the ABJ podcast. We'll see you next time. Here's some music by the Converse Kid. We're out of here.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching this presentation. Like, share, and subscribe for more.